is up? It is Anita here and welcome to Success Climb. Today I'm going to be doing kind of an informal, impromptu video showing you the 20 reasons why intelligent people fail. So these people are really smart, but they still don't get to achieve the level of success that they're looking for. A lot of these things have popped up in my personal life, and so I'm going to be using a lot of examples from what I have gone through to help you guys. I hope these examples can help you, and I hope that you can identify some of these things that potentially might be happening in your life and help snip them out, because that's what I had to do in order to allow myself to get further on my long journey to success. All right, guys, so reason number one, I know you probably can't read this from here unless you zoom in like times 50, but I put them on this rather lopsided whiteboard. All right, number one, lack of motivation. A lack of motivation, okay? When we get up in the morning and we don't have the drive to do what we want. I used to have this. I even was depressed for some point in my life. I didn't want to get up out of my bed. I didn't want to achieve my goals. The way to combat this is just watch motivational things every single day. Feed your soul. Feed the beast within your body that motivation every single day. A very motivational speaker, his name is Zig Ziglar. I love his name. He says this: motivation is like showering. It doesn't last every day. That's why you do it daily. Now, I know I didn't say that quote verbatim, but that's the point of it. The next thing here is lack of impulse control. All right, this comes, just an example from my life. This comes when somebody, for example, myself, who says, hey, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna get that six-pack I've always wanted. And then I go to a party and I see a delicious, juicy piece of caramel steak. And this beautiful steak, it has like condensed milk on the outside, and it's a beautiful looking piece of cake. And just, it's an impulse, like I've gotta eat this piece of cake, it's so good. All right, and that's what was stopping me from achieving the weight loss that I wanted. I used to be unhealthy and I had to do something about it. Lack of impulse control was one of the biggest reasons. All right. Point number three, lack of perseverance and preservation. All right, so this means you aren't diligent. You don't keep going for what you want. This is let's look at the example of the tortoise and the hare. This is a classic story that has been told to us constantly throughout our lives, most of us anyways, especially here in the United States. The tortoise and the hare is basically a story about a turtle and a rabbit racing to get to a finish line. But the tortoise actually ends up winning. Here's why. The hare, even though this rabbit was aesthetically beautiful, this rabbit was muscular, way more intelligent than the tortoise, just faster and just better built to win this race than that tortoise. That rabbit stopped along the way and didn't keep going after the goal. However, the tortoise, even though it was twice as challenging for him to get to that finish line and twice as more painful, and he had twice as many obstacles with his physical capabilities, he got to the finish line and beat the hare. It was his perseverance that got him there. So that, guys, is a really big one for everyone to consider. All right, guys, so the next reason why intelligent people fail is using the wrong abilities. Let's say you're a basketball player and you want to play for the NBA one day. You have to focus on playing basketball. All right, if you're sitting there trying to do all the marketing for yourself, you're trying to manage your own self, you're trying to take all the phone calls, do all the filing to get yourself there, that's using the wrong abilities. If you're really good at basketball and you're not very good at calling people and making the connections necessary to get into that NBA field, it's not going to be a good use of your time, and you'd be using the wrong abilities and honestly wasting your time. All right, 5, the inability to translate thought into action. This is a huge one for me. Like many of you, I've had just such big ideas and big goals and big ambitions, and I've never done anything to achieve them. For example, I used to have such big dreams of being an actor, but I never took an acting class and I never pursued it at all until probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, until I decided to wake up and translate my thoughts about being an actor and how badly I wanted to be on a stage and how badly I wanted to get into the eyes of another character. It did not happen at all if I was just sitting there on my couch hoping for it. I had to translate the thought into action. All right, the next here is lack of product orientation. All right, this is another one very similar. If once again, back to the NBA example, if you're an NBA player and you're putting all your eggs, if you're scattering your eggs all over the place, if you're making the calls, if you're doing the filing, if you're trying to talk to all the managers, that's lack of product orientation. You should be focused on basketball and being the best basketball player you can be. Lack of product orientation also means this. Sometimes people start a business and they want to have like 30 different products when all of their products, the quality is not up to par. All right, so if you're selling cleaning supplies and you're selling, cleaning spray, you're selling mops, you're selling brooms, but all of your products are not very good in quality, the broom breaks after the first use, that's a lack of product orientation. You should be focusing on making one product really, really good and making it unignorable in the marketplace. Okay, the next thing here is the inability to complete tasks. I mean, I've suffered with this so many times. I tell myself I'm going to do something and I don't. Next thing here is failure to initiate. All right, if you don't ever get started, just with my acting example, I always wanted to become an actor and I never took any acting classes. That's a failure to initiate. I wouldn't have ever become anything as an actor if I didn't start. And now I can say that I am in acting classes and I've learned a lot as an actor. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't initiate. And it was a huge time in my life where I did not. Okay, fear of failure. This is a really, really big one, guys. Fear of failure. A lot of people don't decide to initiate their goals because they're scared they're going to fail. And this is a big one. This is something that afflicts me all the time. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, what if we don't make the money? What if we can't market correctly? What if I do something that completely destroys my acting ability? What if I decide to drop out of classes one day? Just the fear of failure is there sometimes. And really what I would say and what I can recommend against that is starve the doubt. Starve the doubt. So if you're thinking about something scary, starve it. Think about all the positive things. Start being so productive that you don't even have time to think about the negatives. Okay, the next thing here is procrastination. Oh, guys, I deal so much with procrastination. When I was in high school, I remember I would not do the homework. I would tell myself, man, I'm gonna do the homework later. And by the way, guys, later does not have a date on the calendar. Later would come around, aka the day before it's due, and I'd be up all night trying to get that one assignment done, and sometimes I wouldn't even finish it by the time class started. So I remember I was up all night doing the assignment, and before the class period, let's say it was 5th period, I wouldn't even pay attention in class. I would spend periods 1 through 4 still doing the assignment and getting it finished. It was not good. Procrastination is the starver of all dreams. If you procrastinate, it's not fun. And it takes the fun and the joy out of your goals and dreams. All right, guys, the next one here is misattribution of blame. Oh my goodness, guys. I used to say this all the time. I used to be like, oh, my teachers are all the ones giving me these bad grades. And I didn't have bad grades in high school, but I used to blame things on other people. And honestly, Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul and Success Principles, basically says this: everything that happens to us is our fault. If something happens to us that we didn't like, it's our fault. he uses the example of this. A husband comes home every single day. He sits on the couch. He watches TV. His kids, you know, he says hi to them for 5 minutes, but just leaves them to their own devices. He makes his wife cook and clean for him, just sits on the couch and doesn't really devote any time to her or the family, and continues doing this routine in the schedule, and continues just watching TV. Doesn't really make any specific time for other things in his life that he should be prioritizing. And then the wife leaves. The wife leaves him. He finds the house empty one day. The wife has had it. She doesn't want any more to do with him. See, the husband might instantly think, oh, my darn wife, why did she leave me? I can't believe this woman. All right, that's just a natural instinct for people sometimes to do. However, whose fault really was it? So we can't misattribute blame. Okay, so here, excessive self-pity. Oh my goodness, almost with the misattribution of blame, we cannot be victimizing ourselves. All right, we can't be like, oh man, I feel so sorry for myself. Why does all of these things happen to me? I feel so sad in this moment because I know a lot of people who do this to themselves. All of those things are self-limiting affirmations and will only make you continually fall into the same trap. Cannot victimize yourselves, guys. You and only you are the lion in your own life. You and only you can capture and dominate and control your life. Okay, the next thing here, excessive dependency. All right, if we depend on other people, as I just said before, you know, you are in control of your own life. You are the master of it. You can't be like, oh, you know, this person is going to help me and they're going to do everything else for me in my life. Next thing here, wallowing in personal difficulties. That's exactly as the same thing as excessive self-pity. All right, we can't sit here and be wallowing in our obstacles and our adversities in life. We have to just tell ourselves, I'm going to get up, I'm going to be stronger than this, and I'm going to go for it. Like the Nike symbol, just do it. I was going to do that the wrong way at first, but it's like a little check mark. Just do it. Okay, the next thing here, distractibility. This is a huge one in my life. Getting distracted way too often. Sometimes I'll be doing something, you know, for my little small business that I have, or, you know, I'll be doing a homework assignment, and then I'll see myself like on social media, or wasting time watching somebody else's video about how they're opening all the candies they got for Halloween. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, I get so distracted sometimes. The best thing to do with this, guys, is really get your phone out of the room. When you know you have to do something that you probably don't like that much, or isn't your preference activity to be doing, get the phone out of the room, close out of all the other tabs, and do not let yourself open another tab on that computer until you finish the one at hand. That's the best advice I can give on that, because I struggle with that one still. Okay, spreading oneself too thin. This is a problem that, once again, I had all of these problems here. I have some of them still, but to be honest with you, I've gotten rid of a lot of them to be able to help myself a lot more in life. Okay, so spreading oneself too thin. This means you want to do a billion things at once. Okay, I'll just use an example of my own life. So when I first started college, I was a journalism major. I was a political science major. I was a biology major, actually, prior to being both of those. And then now I'm finally a business minor as well. Oh my goodness, guys. I was spreading myself so thin. I was trying to write a book at this time. I'm an actor, so I was devoting my life to being an actor. I had 2 jobs. I was trying to start my little business, and I also was trying to help my mom's business. She sells these little soaps and they're beautiful. And it's just, I was doing so much at the same time that I couldn't be great at any of these things because I was just spreading my time so thin. By the way, guys, if you have so many things that you're trying to be good at, you can't. You won't be great at 10 things. It's better to be great at 2 or 3 things than to be mediocre at 15. That is a hard lesson that I had to learn, and I'm still learning it now. Okay, the next one Inability to delay gratification. Let's just use the example of me with a piece of cake again, or the brownie or the chocolate chip cookie that I see at a party, and I'm trying to get a six-pack, and I see those cookies and they just look so good, but I've got to delay that gratification for another time. Maybe my birthday when I can eat them, or maybe on Saturday on my cheat day at the end of the week. Okay, inability to see the forest for the trees. This is a big one. This sometimes means like, oh, a lot of people I see, like sometimes they get so down about the fact that they still haven't achieved the level of success that they want, but they don't realize that sometimes it is a process. Sometimes people say to themselves, man, I've been doing all this work for months and it's gotten me nowhere. In those circumstances, the best thing that I can recommend is to really just look and see if those things are on the path to your success, and to keep being diligent. Because remember guys, lack of diligence is one of the reasons why intelligent people fail. Next here is lack of balance between critical and creative thinking. All right, so sometimes there's a lot of artists out there, for example, that might not realize my art is a business as well. I can make money off of this. Or sometimes a lot of very very intelligent people who are more structured in their minds will only think of something one way and not be more creative in their abilities. Okay, the next thing is too much or too little self-confidence. Now, I'm a firm believer in self-confidence. I think it's very important. There's a lot of UFC fighters that I like that use these tactics and techniques of great self-confidence to allow themselves to win fights. However, if you have such a crazy amount, it can be potentially dangerous to you. I'll just put it this way. The statistics show that students, when they go inside of an exam, the students who are confident in their ability will get the A, but the students that are way too confident in their ability will usually get lower of a score than they perceived to get. And then people who have a lower exam score with lower self-confidence, people who have lower self-confidence will end up getting a lower test score. And that's crazy, but it's true. And I will actually link that study down below if anyone wants to read it. And yes, those guys are the 20 reasons as to why successful people fail. And it really, intelligent people fail. And it really does stink because there are so many intelligent people out there. Like, for example, you guys are all really intelligent. If you're watching a self-improvement YouTube video, or if you're trying to learn and better yourself every day, that already makes you a really smart person. So thank you guys for watching. But I just wanted to share these with you guys because I still struggle with these things on the list, and I've overcome some of them, but sometimes little habits come back. And being aware of them makes you a lot more likely to avoid them. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon.